The endless plains of Texas, 1867. The land stretches under a bruised sky, dark clouds rolling in like a slow-moving army. The wind whistles through the brittle grass, carrying the scent of rain, and something else, tension. A lone figure swings an axe down onto splintered firewood. Eliza Wren, 23, slender but hardened by loss and work, wipes the sweat from her brow. Her eyes carry the weight of someone twice her age. Her simple dress is worn, her hair pinned back roughly. Behind her cabin, half swallowed by the tall grass, stands a wooden cross, her husband's grave. The soil still looks fresh. Her dog, Briggs, suddenly growls. His ears perk, fur bristling. Eliza straightens, gripping the axe tighter. A faint, pitiful sound rides the wind. A groan. In the tall grass, beyond the clearing, something crimson stains the golden blades. Eliza steps forward, heart pounding. There, half hidden, barely breathing, a boy lies curled in the grass. His small frame shivers, his leg blood-soaked. A Comanche boy, wounded, alone, and too close to her home. Eliza's breath catches. Her fingers twitch, longing for the rifle resting on the porch. She edges closer, every dry blade of grass beneath her boots loud in the tense silence. The boy doesn't move, save for the shallow rise and fall of his chest. 12, maybe 13. His black hair hangs matted with dirt and sweat. His face is gaunt, cheekbones sharp beneath sun-darkened skin. His clothes, tattered buckskin, mark him unmistakably as Comanche. His leg shredded, blood congeals around a ragged slash, soaked through crude bandages that barely hold together. For a heartbeat, all she sees is Thomas's army jacket, draped over the porch rail. Her late husband's coat, the one stained with the blood of fallen men, earned during raids and border skirmishes. The stories he told of burning wagons, stolen cattle, murdered settlers. Her pulse quickens. Her thumb traces the edge of her wedding ring. Turn away, her instincts scream. Let the boy die. Safer that way. Simpler. But the boy's eyes flicker open, dark, glassy, wide with terror. They lock onto hers. Not the eyes of a raider. Not the eyes of a killer. Just a boy. Hurt. Afraid. Briggs whines beside her, tail low, sensing the fragile line they stand upon. Eliza lowers her axe, her grip shaking. "Stay down," she mutters, more to herself than to him, and backs toward the porch. The rifle's cold barrel steadies her hand as she approaches again, cautious but resolved. The boy tenses. His hands twitch toward a knife at his belt, but his strength fails him. "I'm not gonna hurt you." The words feel foreign on her tongue. He doesn't understand, but her tone, the softness, makes him hesitate. Rain begins to spit from the sky. Eliza curses under her breath. Damn it, she can't just leave him to bleed out, even if everything in her aches with doubt. Grimacing, she slings the rifle and kneels. The boy recoils weakly, a feeble hiss escaping his cracked lips. "Easy," she murmurs, gripping him under the arms. The moment her hands meet his skin, his body feels light, frail. With effort, she hauls him toward the cabin, praying to God, to Thomas's ghost, that she isn't making the worst mistake of her life. The cabin door creaks open. Eliza shoulders the boy inside, the storm hot on her heels. She lays him on the straw mattress, limbs trembling from adrenaline. Briggs paces near the hearth, hackles still half-raised. The boy groans faintly, his head lolling to the side. Eliza lights the oil lamp, its glow casting long shadows on the log walls. Thunder rumbles low across the plains. She rummages through the cabinet. Linen strips, a tin of whiskey, a half-used spool of thread. Her hands hesitate over the needle. Thomas's words echo in her skull. "Comanche don't forget, Eliza. You spare one. You risk them all coming for you." But her mother's voice, softer, wiser, cuts through the fear. It's easy to hate when it ain't a face in front of you, but when it's a child, you listen to your heart. She kneels beside him. His skin is hot with fever. "Sorry, boy," she whispers, pouring whiskey over the wound. He flinches violently, his eyes snapping open, lips curling into a snarl of pain. The language spills from him, sharp syllables of Comanche she can't decipher, but the fear, the anguish, that's universal. "Shoo, shoo." Eliza presses the linen to his leg. Her stitches are clumsy, but steady. Blood wells up, soaking the fabric, but the bleeding slows. For hours, she works, wiping his brow, changing the dressing. Every time he stirs, she braces, waiting for him to lash out. But his strength is gone. Night wraps the cabin in suffocating silence. A coyote howls in the distance. The boy mutters again, fevered, lost. His words tumble out, but the only thing Eliza catches is the crack in his voice. The same cracked grief left in hers. She settles by the fire, rifle within reach. The storm batters the windows. Lightning forks across the sky, briefly illuminating the boy's face. Pale beneath his tanned skin, eyes clenched tight. He shivers violently, his breath ragged. Eliza rises, pulling an old quilt over him. His small hand curls around the edge, knuckles white with fear. She lingers for a moment, watching the rhythmic rise and fall of his chest. Outside, the plains stretch black and endless. Inside, a stranger sleeps beneath her roof, a child of the people she was taught to fear. But tonight, fear takes a different shape, and it feels a lot like loneliness. The storm softens to a steady drizzle. The fire crackles low. Eliza sits at the table, fingers toying with a tarnished silver locket. Inside, a faded photograph, her and Thomas, young, hopeful, before the land turned hard and the world colder. Their dreams a home, a family, but fate had other plans. Her eyes drift to the boy. His breathing is shallow, but steady. The fever burns in his cheeks, yet something softer lingers there, fragility, youth. She exhales, heavy and quiet. This boy, whatever his people, whatever his past, he's just that. A boy, lost, wounded, afraid. Much like she was when the earth was yanked from beneath her feet. Her thumb closes over the locket. Whatever comes, she'll face it. But tonight, against reason, she's chosen compassion over fear. The first pale streaks of dawn creep across the plains, brushing the endless grass with silver. Inside the cabin, the fire has burned low. The air smells of smoke, earth, and rain. Eliza blinks awake, the familiar ache of fatigue settling behind her eyes. For a moment, she forgets, and then she hears it, the faint, strained breathing across the room. The boy, he stirs weakly on the straw mattress, his dark eyes fluttering open. Eliza rises, careful but calm, filling a tin cup with water from the basin. She crosses to him, offering it in both hands. His eyes, deep guarded, wary, flick between her and the cup. Suspicion dances in them, but desperation overrides it. Slowly he sips. His parched lips tremble. Eliza watches every motion. There's still fear in her chest, but it's tangled now, wrapped with something softer. Compassion, doubt. Briggs, curled near the door, suddenly stiffens. Ears perk. A low, uneasy growl rumbles from his throat. Eliza's heart trips. In the distance, a sound like distant thunder. But the sky is clear now. No storm clouds. Only soft, pale light across the hills. She moves to the window, eyes narrowing. The ground itself is rumbling. Hoofbeats, not one horse. Dozens. On the far ridge, silhouetted against the morning haze, they appear, riders. 50, maybe more. Silent, controlled, moving as one body. Painted faces, feathers streaming from braids, rifles strapped across backs. spears gleaming in the sun. Comanche. Eliza's stomach knots. Her hand drifts instinctively to the rifle resting by the door. The boy, half sitting now, strains to see. His expression flickers between fear and hope. Among the riders, one figure commands immediate attention. At their head rides a tall, broad-shouldered man draped in wolf pelts, his dark eyes sharp as obsidian arrowheads. His face, stern and chiseled, bears the scars of battle. Across his cheek, red paint streaks like blood. Iron Wolf, the war chief, the boy's father. The riders descend the ridge like a dark tide. Eliza's pulse hammers. Her cabin feels impossibly small. The rifle in her hand, laughably useless against 50 warriors. They close the distance swiftly, hooves thudding in rhythm. At 50 yards, they slow, spread out, encircle the cabin like a noose tightening. Briggs growls low, teeth bared. Eliza breathes steady, but her fingers whiten around the rifle stock. The warriors dismount. Their painted faces reveal nothing, cold, unreadable masks. One false move, and the earth will run red. The boy finds his voice, weak but carrying across the clearing. ABA. Father. Iron Wolf's gaze snaps to the cabin. His expression sharpens, fury barely restrained. He strides forward alone, cutting through the ring of warriors like a blade. Eliza holds her ground at the door, rifle at her side, not yet raised, but ready. Iron Wolf halts 10 paces from her, towering and unreadable. For a long moment, silence reigns. The grass whispers in the breeze. The boy coughs faintly behind her. Iron Wolf's eyes drift past Eliza, to the open doorway, to the child lying within, wounded, but alive, bandaged, no chains, no rope, just linen and human care. But suspicion burns bright in the war chief's eyes. They stand like statues in the pale dawn, the settler's widow and the Comanche war chief. The gap between them feels miles wide. Iron Wolf's voice cuts the quiet, sharp as flint. His English is rough, accented, but clear. You hurt my son. Eliza meets his gaze, swallowing down the lump of fear, clawing up her throat. He was bleeding, she says evenly. Out there in the grass. The warriors behind him shift, gripping rifles, tomahawks gleaming. Eliza doesn't flinch, but her grip tightens. Iron Wolf's eyes narrow, studying her. His gaze falls to the boy's leg bandaged, the fabric stained with blood but properly tended. Why help him? His voice holds accusation and confusion. Eliza exhales, steady. Because he's a child, she answers. And I've buried enough people. The tension coils tighter. One wrong word, one nervous twitch, and it will all shatter into violence. But then, a faint sound. The boy. Weakly he speaks. Soft words in Comanche, voice strained but certain. Iron Wolf's sharp eyes flick to his son. The boy repeats himself, this time stronger. His hand gestures faintly toward Eliza. The warriors murmur. Shifting uncertainty ripples through them. Iron Wolf listens. His jaw clenches, but doubt creeps into his expression. Eliza doesn't understand the words, but the message is clear enough. The boy defends her. A long, heavy silence falls. The warriors remain tense, weapons gripped, but they await their leader's signal. Iron Wolf's eyes soften, but only slightly. You save him, he says, voice low. Eliza nods once. No chains, no knife, Iron Wolf observes, more to himself than to her. The boy's weak smile flickers, briefly before exhaustion claims him again. Iron Wolf's expression remains hard, but something shifts behind his eyes. A begrudging respect? Perhaps only the faintest glimmer. He lifts his hand, signaling to the warriors. They lower their weapons, cautiously, watching, waiting. 2 step forward, gently lifting the boy from the mattress. Eliza steps back, pulse racing. Iron Wolf studies her a moment longer. His eyes, sharp as a hawk's, offer no promise of peace, but a warning. Any betrayal, and they will return. Without another word, they carry the boy toward the waiting horses. The warriors fade into the plains, blending with the tall grass and early mist. Eliza remains at the cabin door, alone, but not unwatched. The prairie lies quiet beneath a pale, silver moon. The storm has passed, leaving the air sharp and clean, the grass shimmering like steel in the moonlight. Eliza Wren lies awake on her cot, staring at the ceiling beams, her ears tuned to the faintest sounds outside. Every creak of wood, every whisper of wind through the shutters, keeps her nerves taut as wire. But it isn't the fear of the Comanche that keeps her eyes wide. It's the memories. Thomas, her husband, his body returned bloodied after a Comanche raid 2 years past. The grief, the hate that followed, the whispered warnings from neighbors. Don't trust him. Comanche never forget, they never change. She believed them once, but now the boy's face lingers behind her eyes. Frightened, small, wounded, human, not the monster she'd painted in her mind all these years. The image of Iron Wolf, proud and fierce, still burned in her memory. His eyes had held suspicion, yes, but also gratitude. Eliza presses her palm to the carved bone pendant that now hangs around her neck. Smooth, cool, real. Despite everything, the lines between enemy and neighbor have begun to blur. Something fragile, quiet as dawn, has shifted inside her. And fate isn't done yet. The quiet shatters. It starts with the distant crack of gunfire, sharp and jarring against the still night. Eliza jerks upright, heart leaping into her throat. More shots. Yells. Rough voices. Not Comanche. Bandits. White men, ruthless, opportunistic. Settler gangs that roam the frontier, looting, killing, hunting anything different, native or settler. Makes no difference when greed and cruelty lead. Eliza snatches her rifle, boots slamming against the floorboards. She pushes out the door. Beyond the ridge, flashes of muzzle fire burst in the dark. Smoke rises. Shadows run wild through the grass. The Comanche camp is under siege. Her instinct screams, "Stay out of it." But her legs are already moving. Down the slope, past the hollow, rifle tight against her chest, boots pounding the earth. She sees them, figures slipping between the grass. Raiders in filthy hats and patched coats, firing into tents, grabbing at horses, shouting over the chaos. The Comanche, caught off guard, scramble for cover. Arrows hiss through the dark. War cries pierce the air. Eliza ducks low, weaving toward the camp. A flash of movement catches her eye. A small figure huddled behind a fallen log. The boy, his injured leg slows him, eyes wide with terror. A raider spots him, rifle raised. Eliza doesn't think. She fires. The shot rips through the raider's shoulder. He collapses, cursing. Other raiders turn, startled to see a white woman with a rifle among them. Eliza plants herself beside the boy, leveling the gun again. "Stay down," she commands, voice steady despite the fear clawing at her chest. Another shape bursts from the smoke. Iron Wolf, spear in hand, face streaked with war paint. A raider lunges for him from behind. Eliza fires. The raider crumples. Iron Wolf spins, eyes locking onto her. For a breathless moment, disbelief hardens his features. A settler woman, protecting him, protecting his son? But there's no time for questions. His grip tightens on the spear. With a guttural cry, he joins the fray. Together, Comanche warriors and a lone settler woman fight side by side. The bandits, unprepared for such defiance, falter. Shots ring, hooves thunder, and slowly, the tide turns. The raiders retreat under the cover of darkness, leaving behind wounded and broken pride. The prairie settles, thick with the acrid sting of gunpowder and the distant moans of the defeated. Eliza stands at the camp's edge, rifle slack in her hands, lungs burning from the sprint, adrenaline ebbing into exhaustion. Iron Wolf approaches, silent as shadow. His warriors watch, cautious but curious, the fear and rage of the night tempered by the sight of what they witnessed. The war chief halts before her, eyes searching her face. A long pause. Then, from around his neck, he draws a pendant, carved bone, smoothed by age and touch. It bears the markings of his people, symbols of protection and respect. He holds it out, palms steady. "You help, my son," he says, his English rough, but the sincerity clear. Eliza hesitates, then accepts it, the cool bone pressing into her palm. "You helped me," she replies softly. Iron Wolf inclines his head, a warrior's nod. No grand speeches, no promises, but an understanding, forged in fire, sealed in trust, the lines that divided them not erased. But tonight they blurred. The first light of dawn spills across the plains, casting the land in soft gold. The Comanche prepare to ride. Eliza watches from the rise beside her cabin, the carved bone pendant resting against her chest. The boy, bandaged and weak, sits astride a painted pony, his eyes finding hers. No words pass between them. None are needed. Iron Wolf meets her gaze one last time, the faintest trace of respect lingering in his expression. With a soft whistle, the warriors melt into the morning mist, horses weaving through the tall grass until they vanish like ghosts. Eliza remains, wind-teasing strands of hair loose around her face. The cabin stands as it always has, weathered, isolated, but something inside her has shifted. For the first time since Thomas's grave was laid in the earth, she doesn't feel entirely alone. She fingers the pendant. Out here, trust is rare. But tonight, in the fire and the fear, she chose compassion. And maybe, just maybe, hope will find its way back to her. In a land where fear and hatred run deep, trust is the rarest thing of all. Would you have made the same choice as Eliza? Or would you have let the past decide your future? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you believe stories like this, about courage, compassion, and survival, deserve to be heard, make sure to like this video, share it, and subscribe for more true frontier tales from the wild, unforgiving West.